There are still some significant unresolved issues with the Jade Cargill plot that are dragging us down. A completely new theoretical avenue and rabbit hole, and this is undoubtedly another fascinating one. Now let's discuss the Jade Cargill case and investigate a few of the story's unresolved issues. The narrative is already fairly straightforward and easy to follow. Naomi assaulted Jade Cargill. Jade observed Naomi fleeing when she was losing consciousness. Jade is now pursuing Naomi after realizing it was her. It's difficult to overlook some of the other components, but that's the narrative right now. WWE first introduced this story, but they haven't really gone back to it yet. For instance, the purported witness to the assault on the backstage a few weeks prior to Jade Cargill's self-return. Nick Aldis delivered Bianca Belair and Naomi enter his office to observe this witness up close. Anonymous footage from the attack's night was sent to the WWE headquarters, and this was the video that captured the scene of Jade Cargill that evening, taking pictures of Liv Morgan and Raquel passing by while being loaded into the ambulance, as well as images of Bayley scurrying into view after hiding between lorries. On Wrestling World CC, we have already discussed the notion that Bayley was complicit in the assault. Furthermore, Jade Cargill clearly refuted the untrue Liv and Raquel are accused of carrying out the attack. However, we never took the time to truly consider and examine was this purported eyewitness actually present. We are aware that Naomi is the primary perpetrator of the assault. However, keep in mind that this witness film was not taken by Naomi herself. Several feet distant from the camera, Naomi can be seen in the picture standing near the ambulance. Since Naomi was not the one recording who is in charge of this footage, we do know that this video aided Naomi and fulfilled its intended purpose, and that supports Naomi's untrue claim that Liv and Raquel carried out the assault. In the unlikely event that Bianca wasn't believing Naomi, the icing on the cake for the whole issue was this video. Trick Bianca Belair into thinking that Liv and Raquel were the ones responsible. Therefore, being aware that this witness was present at the incident, could not have any video showing Naomi abusing Jade Cargill, but they did obtain video showing Liv and Raquel appears to be guilty. Which leads us to our next follow-up query. Was this witness directly conspiring with Naomi and cooperating with her the entire time? It certainly appears realistic. Perhaps Naomi placed this witness in the exact location of the backstage section that night and instructed them to record footage of whomever walks by because they want to utilize the person they have on camera to frame the attack, which naturally turned out to be Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan, who expertly entered Naomi's fictitious inserted witness's camera frame. Naomi only required any proof that would exonerate her name, and that was the purpose of the witness's presence. Naomi had that video in her back pocket since November after the witness sent it to her, and Naomi anonymously submitted it to WWE. Moment she sensed the slight increase in attack pressure, let's go a step further and talk about who Naomi's witness and possible other assisters are. Naomi is currently accepting full responsibility and credit for the assault. However, fans have been somewhat dubious since November that Jade Cargill's attack might have been the result of a multi-woman operation. Wish someone might have been there to support Naomi and act as her extra muscle. So who might have been Naomi's assistants that evening? Many fans believe that Naomi's helpers are Lash legend and Jakara Jackson. For the most part, Jakara and Lash are members of the NXT brand. However, we must not overlook the fact that they did have a brief period of time last year where it did appear to be on the road for a while with the main roster SmackDown brand. Could Naomi have approached Jakara and Lash with this suggestion, for Naomi knew that no one would actually check into the attack on Jade Cargill? Jakara and Lash's way because they're halfway between SmackDown and NXT. It makes sense. The enforcer, Lash legend, was the one who gave Jade a boost. That evening, Cargill slammed her against the automobile. Although Jade claimed to have seen Naomi, it's plausible that someone else was sprinting. Jade Cargill most likely missed and did not spot them away from the scene with Naomi. Jakara Jackson, the fabricated witness who recorded the tape of Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan strolling around outside the ambulance, making the takedown of Jade Cargill a full-scale operation with 3 women, which included Lash, Jakara, and Naomi. Now you're most likely wondering, Why would Jakara and Lashing agree to help Naomi do such a crazy thing at random? And the response to that query is that Naomi might have promised the two of them a few significant chances to participate in the Jade Cargill attack. Ironically, Bianca Belair and Naomi did risk losing their tag team titles. Viz Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson on the January 28th NXT episode. It is now feasible to consider that particular tag team in light of this particular hypothesis. Was Naomi repaying Jakara and Lash for their assistance in the attack during the championships match? Perhaps Naomi anticipated that she and Bianca would stand up and win the title of tag team champions. Belair, so she assured Lash and Jakara that she would do everything in her power to ensure them had a chance at the tag team titles in exchange for their help about Jade Cargill's situation. Once all of that information has been put together, oddly enough, it fits quite nicely and solves the puzzle. The fact that there was a witness backstage in the parking lot is just strange. A large portion of the attack that purportedly witnessed a great deal and obtained all this film. However, they lacked any video that implicated Naomi in any way. That is undoubtedly suspicious, which is what precipitated our assumption that the witness participated in every aspect of Naomi's life, and perhaps there was even another assistant. Strangely enough, the notion of Jakara and Lash lending a hand because they may be tagged potential for team titles, that concept is straightforward, yet it suits perfectly. Additionally, Naomi is also experiencing some difficulties because Jade Cargill is often getting the advantage and unconsciousing Naomi each time they met after Elimination Chamber. Could we thus witness a scene in which Jade Cargill beats Naomi down once more? However, Jakara and Lash immediately appear as Naomi's reinforcements, and perhaps that's when Naomi will have the chance to give Jade Cargill's skull even another significant twist, pointing out that although Jade may have caught Naomi in the act that evening, she not apprehend the two additional women who were assisting her that evening from the darkness, and that's Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson. The dramatic twist that Naomi was the one who attacked was already established. Cargill Jade, given that it was Jade's best friend, that in and of itself was a dramatic twist. Then came the second narrative twist, in which Jade watched Naomi doing it firsthand. What about this additional narrative element that will shock Jade Cargill and really stack the odds? And the fact that Naomi wasn't by herself that evening. She must now repel Jakara, Lash, and Naomi. Since her return, Jade has been in charge of the narrative, but making a significant reveal of several attacks will immediately turn the tide back in Naomi's favor. As we have stated numerous times, Jade Cargill is a force, a superhuman. It's difficult to see her as an underdog babyface since she's unstoppable. However, put her at a significant disadvantage, such as in a 3 versus 1 scenario. And given those conditions, Jade Cargill now undoubtedly appears to be the underdog. Furthermore, it's nothing new for Naomi. Back in 2015, Naomi was the leader of Team Bad's small heel faction. Thus, this might be Naomi returning to her origins in a sense. Additionally, Naomi was no longer technically a heel character at that point. There are many parallels between Naomi's leadership of that group 10 years ago and maybe serving as the current leader of this 3-woman faction. Furthermore, it's possible that Naomi's objective will draw interest from other women, and perhaps even more people would like to support their cause. And this is only one illustration of how fantastic this plot is from a theoretical perspective. Since we've now talked about the possibility that Naomi's co-conspirator could be Bianca, Naomi, or the Meta Girls, you may persuasively argue that any one of those 3 hypotheses makes perfect sense. However, what do you think of the stories from today? Please leave a comment below and remember to subscribe with all alerts enabled. And if you liked it, drop a like. I appreciate you everyone watching.